Get the Heavenly Realm Healing MP3 at JasonGallant.ca. I was watching a documentary just a little while ago about a professional athlete that his career ended, and then he fell into a depression and then started using drugs, and because he wasn't used to not being accepted or constantly being cheered for, or he wasn't used to not getting positive reinforcement from his teammates or from his coaches, and people saying, good job, we accept you, we love you. He didn't know who he was after his career ended. Okay, and this documentary was interesting because it really boils down to the fact that this person, this man that was a professional athlete, was searching for acceptance. So he was doing what was necessary to serve his team and to win, but at the same time, it's all an expression of wanting acceptance. So when the crowd fell away, when the teammates fell away, when there was no longer a career, then there was nothing for him to do in order to gain that acceptance anymore. He started to realize he just kind of drifted into the shadows, and then there were no more people to give him this acceptance. It was almost like a drug. So what I'm trying to say is, don't search for acceptance in order to find happiness, in order to find fulfillment. Acceptance has nothing to do with fulfillment. Because some people will accept you, some people won't. There are always going to be people that are misunderstanding you or not on board with you, and then, of course, then people say to you, hey, just don't worry about the world, just accept yourself. But I'm going to take this one step further. I'm going to say at some point you let go of the self-acceptance as well. Now, some of you won't understand what I'm saying. So please try to be open enough just to understand, okay? Acceptance is a thought. It is not your natural state. It is a way that you are channeling your state of beingness and saying, okay, I'm trying to open, I'm trying to accept myself. It's basically a compensation to undo the negative thoughts that you have. So you get positive thoughts to undo the negative thoughts. But at some point, if you wish to go further on the enlightenment journey, you let go of that entire game. There's no acceptance and there's no non-acceptance. There's no rejection and no acceptance. There's just this. You let go of the entire drama around it. When you stop playing the game of acceptance and rejection, then you're free. There's no crowd to please. You're not even stuck having to please yourself. That's a nice state to be in. You don't have to please yourself because your natural state is already pleased, you see? I don't have to make water wet. And neither do you. Water's natural state is wet. And so your natural state is free. It doesn't have to play these games. It's just that you were taught to play them and then you got stuck playing them. So if you have feelings of rejection come up, realize that you're playing a game. You are deluding yourself in thinking that when you change this person's opinion of you, that your internal experience will change. And that is not necessarily true. We know millions of stories about people that have become famous and rich and liked by everybody, and they still committed suicide, or they became addicted to drugs, or they had extreme depression, or they couldn't relate with people that were close to them. You see, so don't look for acceptance. And in this social media time, there's so many people out there looking for acceptance. How many followers do they have? How many this and that? And you can play those games, but don't look for your fulfillment in them. Okay? Because that's not where it is. Fulfillment happens when you can be intimate with yourself. And what intimacy means is interact with yourself in a way that is to do with non-doing and non-thinking. You're just absolutely, totally open without action or movement of the mind. Some people would say you're naked before the eyes of the universe. You have nothing to hide from yourself. You're vulnerable to this, even if you don't know what this is. You're vulnerable to the fear and vulnerability that comes up. You allow it all to be what it is. You don't try to fix it or compensate. You don't come up with ways to avoid what is here. See, a lot of these games of rejection and acceptance and things all have to do with you avoiding what's underneath all of that. So don't look for fulfillment. Surrender to your natural state, which is fulfillment itself. I hope this helps. Take care for now.